We have people in the outside world that would love to stop our whaling.
It doesn't need to be done. It's no longer necessary.
It's their food security, but it's also their cultural identity.
It's an emotional debate that is pitting even environmentalists on opposite sides of the issue.
There's no reason for it anymore. I mean, to claim traditions, well, come up with a new tradition. You know, teach your kids something new, something that's helpful, something that will be sustainable and last them through their generations.
But here in Alaska, environmentalists who have witnessed the tradition behind the hunt have a much different view.
Commercial whaling is all about killing whales for profit, and it's completely different from subsistence, where the indigenous communities that practice subsistence whaling have a spiritual connection to the whale.
And whalers say they closely regulate themselves within their community and through the Alaska Eskimo Whaling Commission. Quotas are determined by the population of each village and need.
We don't look at it as a rate of return. It is to feed our community. And that's the biggest thrill and honor that a whaling captain has, is to receive a whale through their boat and distribute it to the people.
In fact, the International Whaling Commission recognizes that Aboriginal hunting is totally different in nature than commercial, citing the objectives of subsistence whaling as to ensure risks of extinction are not seriously increased by whaling, enable Native people to hunt at levels appropriate to their cultural and nutritional needs, and move populations towards and then maintain them at healthy levels.
We are not to hunt any game in our life that would deplete the source. Take only what you need and let the ones pass.
It's all part of the tradition, culture, identity that's been a way of life dating back thousands of years.
All animals are sacred to us. They give themselves to us so we can survive.
The cycle of life, passed down from one generation to another. A life centered around the whale.
That is our garden out there. That sustains our livelihood. And that whale is the core of our culture.
But still, for decades, it's that traditional way of life that has sparked controversy around the globe. The 1970s saw the beginning of the anti-whaling movement.
We have seen the day when the International Whaling Commission, which we didn't even know existed, imposed a moratorium on whaling.
After scientists claimed the bowhead was near extinction, that's when indigenous whalers formed the Alaska Eskimo Whaling Commission to educate the world that people in the 21st century still live the subsistence lifestyle.
We proved to them that we can manage our own source without depleting the source.
In recent years, the National Marine Fisheries Service shows that the bowhead population is growing at a rate of more than 3% per year. But despite the continued growth, with an estimated 14,000 bowheads, controversy still remains.
Well, they never stop. That's their livelihood. What they do in life is try to, say quit whaling.
If the oceans die, we die.
One organization that would like to see the end of indigenous whaling is Sea Shepherd, a marine wildlife conservation group that says it's time for a change.
People say, oh, we want to pass down our traditions to the next generations. Well, eventually, there's not going to be anything.
Citing lack of need and tradition as part of the problem.
They use buoys and rifles and harpoons to kill them, and it's a long and painful death for the whale. I mean, sometimes it'll take up to 12 hours for them to die.
They believe that the whale gives itself to them, and because of that, they honor and respect the whale through the entire process, and then they celebrate the whales that they do take throughout the entire year.
But for now, the debate goes on, and just as they have done for thousands of years,
We call ourselves people of the whale.
The identity of the first people of Alaska will continue to live on through their rich culture and sometimes controversial ancient traditions.
It's the culture, it's the root of this community.
With photojournalist Kuba Vols, Blake Essig, Channel 2 News.